most of you guys know, this is kind of like a topic that I really want to touch base on and utilize my platform to voice out what has truly been going on. So this is going off my beliefs and my opinions, and I completely respect everyone that has their own opinion and what they feel, which is completely understandable. I'm not a judgmental person, so completely respect that. And to justify just how I feel as a black man in this country. Do I have emotion behind everything that's happened? Yes. Does this play a role in the Forex market? Yes. Is this a political gain? Yes. So we're going to just dive right into it.
Yeah, on all of the above.
And all of the above. So we're really going to start from the reason why COVID-19 got even started in the first place.
Yeah, so before we even get started on that,
Yeah.
what I hope that can happen with this
Yeah.
is that, like you said, we don't want to offend anybody.
Yep.
But we only need to speak facts, right? As far as facts from what you and I have both learned and have seen.
Yeah.
As long as this can create positive dialogue to talk about it,
Yeah.
we can further progress. That's what we want from this. We don't want people getting upset or anything like that.
That's not really like the end goal. So the end goal is to really to have you guys be more aware and be woken of what the situation is. So not taking what you guys are seeing in the media, it's plotted, twisted. They know how to twist words. They know how to get people feeling very emotional, and that's the best reaction that you're going to get out of people. And they've been doing it for years. And, and now I feel like, honestly, the Democrats and, Republicans just did not come to an agreement on how everything was supposed to be portrayed in their agenda. And it got real sloppy.
Yep.
Real sloppy.
Agreed. And I mean, from my perspective, I mean, being around for 37 years, I've seen and have experienced like just history in the making overall.
Yeah.
Like we all have to a point, right? But I was actually old enough to understand the Rodney King riots.
Yeah.
L.A. back in the early 90s. So this is all just bubbling up. It's all bubbling up from even before that. So we talk about the civil rights movements, how you and I were talking off camera just before we started.
Yeah.
It was hard for black people to have black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
There was segregation very heavily, right? So this has been just a large just pressure cooker ready to pop.
Yeah.
But what I want to make sure happens, I've posted on IG over the past 4 or 5 days in regards to this. And the reason I posted is because I want people that follow me, black, white, or whatever, it doesn't matter, that I'm more human than anything. And we need to come together as a human race. Forget the color, forget the background, forget anything.
Yeah.
If you can understand what's right from wrong, then whatever underlying tones are going on or any hidden agendas or anything like that, I want the hidden agendas exposed, and that's how you do it. You come together as one. One thing that I was saying during like the high points, whether it was Friday or even Saturday, the way that the officers, when I was watching these protests, especially in L.A., the L.A. one really hit me because I was like, yo, I see where they're even taking this to a next step where, yes, the protesters were going crazy. They took out, 12 vehicles, set one on fire, etc. And then there was the standoff. With the standoff, you have somebody that's always in the middle of it, trying to rile things up and then cool things down. So there's a process for this whole thing. And the one thing that I was waiting for, because it feels like it's ready to happen, is that when you have this big group of people, if you just take everybody and say, you know what, we're moving in, those police officers could have been overtaken in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They're lucky they weren't, because there's so many people on one side. And you've got this line of police officers. That first line of people, though, they're gonna get beat up, whether it's with batons, whether it's rubber bullets, whether it's right. But that's where that sacrifice comes in for this for working together. Nobody seems to want to take that stance, right?
Yeah.
We want to keep it peaceful. People want to keep it peaceful, but sometimes it's going to come to a point where all heat is going to be just too much pressure, and it's going to just pop and boom.
Yeah.
So we need to take a step back, I think, and kind of really grasp the moment, because tensions are so high that I feel like the original reason people are even out there is being lost, because now everybody's focusing on, when you're talking about the media and people watching the media, looting, rioters, this,
Yeah.
that, and the other, right? And that's just unfortunate.
Well, that has always started because, when you have a country that's, fairly not really educated at all, and that's a given fact. Dealing with the whole COVID-19 being released wasn't properly, handled the correct way or the correct manner. How we're seeing where so-called leadership was not there. It was just every other day someone was speaking about this could be that, this could be that. And then you had Bill Gates coming out of nowhere that has nothing to do with the health industry at all. Just because he has the capital, he's investing on the vaccine, which everyone starts to find out, start doing a due diligence research that what the hell is this guy talking about? This guy couldn't even protect viruses from a computer.
Right.
And we're now diving into a whole nother industry. So that became a very red flag warning. You realize the media outlet has stirred up the pot, increasing numbers, markets going up, flying up and down, and still pushing up when we have admittedly shut down the country. Markets is going up, but everyone is at home. No one is working. Everyone's waiting for the stimulus checks, right? Everyone is
unemployment.
Yeah, employment rates just kept going up every week, higher and higher and higher, right?
And you got people that are waiting 8 weeks for unemployment checks.
Yeah.
Because they're so far behind.
Yeah, so far behind. People can't even pay their monthly payments. Everything has to be subsided as a program now. People are asking, are we ever going to be paying taxes for taking this stimulus checks? Yes. Down the road, someone has to pay.
Yep.
But the fact is that the way how the media portrayed everything was, even if a person came into the hospital, you got corona, no one is getting tested. We don't even have the right procedure of having everyone getting tested. We couldn't even get enough money even for people to get tested in the first place.
Yep.
So any person that came in or was attempting to leave the hospital, they had corona. And I feel like the whole corona was completely bullshit. Everything was completely staged straight to the T to get Donald Trump out of office. The Democrats have been on a mission ever since he got enrolled as president. And since he's been in president, the employment has gone up, which of course they don't want that. They want America to be poor, but they want to preach that America is the greatest country in the world.
And the stock markets were as high as they were.
Stock market was very high. And I repped the benefit on that. You did too.
Yeah.
Everyone in Blue Capital did, right? So seeing that is going to cause major pressure for a re-election, right? They're like, oh man, he's doing numbers. We don't want that. It's
Right.
like having a typical hater, try to support you, but they don't want you to be better than them, right? And that's the same scenario that we're witnessing right now. Yeah, is Donald Trump the best president? No. Is he an asshole? Yeah, I think so.
Individually, he's an asshole.
Yeah, individually he's an asshole, but he wants America to be good, because they can't puppet him.
Right.
He's out of control. He's a loose cannon. He's tweeting whatever that he wants to tweet, and no one is saying anything. They're like, fuck. So then all of a sudden they try to do the whole impeachment, and look at where that led to.
Yeah, it was a fail. It was a failed.
It was
attempt.
fair. It was a failed attempt.
It got through the Democratic House, but it didn't pass through the Senate in January. So, strike one.
Yeah, so that was strike one. So all of a sudden, they knew about Corona that, I feel like they were working behind his back and plotting with China to see if they could, make this, very ideal and believable to the public eye, right? Blame it on China. Who? you know? So, and then that becomes a motive, right? And then as the media outlets just start covering it with nothing to back it up, just saying all this stuff, pouring all that information, negative news, negative news, negative news, and people are just feeding it and believing it without doing no due diligence research.
Right.
Damn, I just kissed the mic right now. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's classic. So doing that, and people become, I feel like our generation is so gullible. Like, you honestly could flip a channel and they believe everything that you see and hear because they're official reporters. No, they're getting paid from the higher ups, scripted. This is what you should say if you want to get paid. Mm-hmm. And they say it. And then our media and the people are here just believing everything that they want to see, right? They paint you a picture of a scenario, you believe it, and then you run with it. Mm-hmm. And that is our problem, I feel like, till this day. And it's been such a problem for decades. It's the reason why we've been having all these racial tensions for years and years and years. And now it's finally pressed up, as a bubble. It's finally burst. And people are getting tired of it. They're tired of everything being staged. Everything being as a political game. No one believes in a damn government. Honestly, we should just change the name from United States to being separated states. It's really come down to this point.
Yeah.
So the whole COVID-19, you realize they're not talking about it anymore. The whole number count, where was the number count with the death tolls?
Over 100,000?
Yeah, over 100,000, right?
I haven't heard anything.
Over 100,000. I haven't heard anything. So they realized that was an epic fail. They couldn't continue to keep pushing it because it wasn't believable. You have states that are opening up slowly, not listening, to what even Donald Trump was even going to say. Because the Republicans were like, you know what, fuck this shit. We're going to open this slowly. And I think that was the only states that were open was Texas and Arizona, right?
Well, and to touch even on that part of it, over the weekend, what was it? I guess Donald Trump had signed an agreement that actually forced states to open early, which is why when we were talking about like what's happened in LA, why is this happening in LA when it's supposed to be shut down? They were forced to open early. Same thing with New York, because at that point it was like, hey, we can't do this anymore.
Yep.
He said if any state is going to stay locked down from their decision, they will start incurring costs and fines federally.
Yeah.
So that's why we saw so many openings prior to the weekend.
Yeah.
And just ironically, over the weekend, this is what we have that actually happened. You know what I mean? So
it was the most perfect structured way to continue this lockdown, to have everyone be stuck, to put more fear into people's opportunities,
Right.
to give them some slight of hope, to be like, all right, nope, we should have never opened. Start, rethinking about their main decision, right?
Right.
So it puts so much more fear now.
Right.
They're like, oh, man, we're dealing with this whole corona. Now we're dealing with, all this
Curfews.
Curfews, right? Being so restricted. What happened to our rights? So we're just going to believe just giving us a curfew and then they're going to slap us with a damn fine when no one is working? How are you going to get more capital from doing that?
Right.
How are you going to have more people being united from doing that? Because the real agenda is that they don't want people to be united. It's for everyone to be completely broken down and separated. They want white people to be white people, Mexicans to be Mexicans, black to be suffering as they always have been suffering, And I'm not saying like all races are suffering, but generally all races are, and everyone not to be together.
Well, to divide is to conquer,
Yeah.
right? That's why it's so important to
the
look
more
past
fear you
those
put in
agendas.
people, the more you could actually control of what it's basically. They're playing everything as a chess move.
And that's why it's been in recent times. Like,
Yeah.
how recently has the phrase that you've heard, white privilege?
A lot. I've heard it my entire life.
So to me, that's something that more has just got stronger and stronger and stronger as we've got to this day, right? Mm-hmm. It was out there, but we've got it and got it and got it. So now it's a continuous thing. And I will say this, that I believe that there is a white privilege that's out there. So what I want for people is for people to come together and decide to go past all this bullshit rhetoric, all this bullshit, like all the hidden agendas, right? And just say, you know what? You're a person. I'm a person.
Yep.
What do we need to do to work together, right? We need to at least come to that point. So
Yeah.
if anybody if there's somebody that doesn't believe that white privilege is a thing, you might need to take a step back.
You're sleeping on a hell of a rock. There's been many occasions when sometimes if I go to a high-end restaurant, they'll look at me like if I can't afford it. You know, already judging me before I even step out or even bring out my own wallet.
Right.
Like, you know, or they'll look at me in a very different way like, oh, you know, he doesn't seem to be why is he here? He don't belong here.
Or how often do you get, oh, do you play for the Cardinals?
Yeah, stereotypical already, just stepping in. Like, there were times, like, even when I went to even a car dealership, they're like, oh, man, you play for the Cardinals? Like, why do I have to be able to play a significant sport? Because what? Because I look built? Like, no. I can't just be a regular Joe, just be like, hey, I just like to hit the gym, like, you know, casually. Just like how you see like a white guy.
Those are the things that
you wouldn't ask them, be like, hey, you play for the Cardinals?
Those
like,
are the assumptions that are fed.
Yeah.
Right? So when we were talking about back, you know, when in civil rights,
or another thing too. Oh, do you play basketball?
right? Oh, that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
You're 6'4", so you're tall.
I could be the worst player, and
Right.
I could play for any team and just say it and just play the role, right? That's because that's what we've been going through from generations. Just play the role, right?
Right. Shut up and dribble, right?
Yeah, shut up and dribble.
So when we were talking about off air, when we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about, you know, the civil rights movement, stuff like that within
Yep.
the 60s where it was difficult, you know, and how it was hard for black
Well,
owned
we could
businesses.
also talk about Boris Johnson as well too.
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
I'll let you get into that.
No. We're gonna dive right into it.
Go ahead.
No, because what people don't know, and we're gonna go back to history as well. Boris Johnson hated black people with a full passion. He did not want to see any rights. It took to 1965, I believe, for us as a whole, as a black community, to have rights to vote. And he knew that time was coming and disapproved of it. And there was nothing that he could do. It was out of his hands. So what they did is they planned a whole agenda behind that, making it very difficult for us to own businesses, right? Mm-hmm. We're already back 100 years because we were taken captive from Africa, you know, minding our own business, right? And put as slaves while the white community is just escalating throughout the years, right? Building a business, getting established. We're having us as slaves, you know, and continue to build their empire, right?
Of course, on black backs.
Yeah, and black backs, you know? So then the enviness started to come because we were so, you know, we got more hands-on, you know? We had the work ethic, right? There was no choice. We became more athletic, more faster, you know? We started obtaining more knowledge when we had the right knowledge at the time, right? So it was fear from the beginning from the white community,
And
right?
fear drives everything.
Yes.
Fear, I was talking about this with somebody over the weekend. Fear drives everything.
Yeah.
Fear drives not only what's happening now
Yeah.
in real life, but when you translate it over the market, the market succeeds off of the people that are scared. It eats those people alive.
Yeah.
So our government, if you have fear towards it, the government will eat you alive.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And that just goes for the Mexican community. They know they're hardworking people,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't stand that. And I'm just being real. Like, Americans are a lazy piece of shit. It's true. Because if we never had to go through slavery, everyone would have been had equal. Everyone would have been set right, paved. We would have grown America the way how it should be, right? It's just true.
It was always the underlying
Yeah, and it
agenda.
took us so long. It took us so long for us to get our rights, and then finally pave it forward.
So, but to even touch during that time frame, I think you and I both can agree that as far as the racism,
Yeah,
the feeling,
Yeah.
right? Why people are the way that they are,
Yeah.
it's out of fear, but it's also a learned feeling. Nobody's ever born racist. It's not part
it's
of
not.
your DNA.
It's been through past experience and what people witness.
So,
You know,
in regards to that, where
and they
I
think that's normal. Like, they think that's just a normal feeling that, all right, since this person did it, you know, following a trend, of course,
Mm-hmm.
not developing any kind of leadership, So if that person did it, all right, that seems right, and then they're gonna carry it. It got carried on through generations,
Right.
And they thought that was okay.
And I feel that today's youth, people that are, let's say, Derek's age,
Yeah.
even as old as where your
Yep.
age is at, right? So I think that for those that are within that age range,
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference because we've seen more multiracial families. We've
Yep. Mm-hmm.
seen barriers be broken, right? So I personally feel like there has been somewhat progress, but progress in the comfortable state, not progress in the political economic state, right? Where now we've seen I've seen pictures of, groups of white people out there actually protesting
Yeah.
for the situation. So
Yeah.
there's been a little bit of progress.
Yeah.
But that progress, if we stop it and slow it down, they're going to continue to win, right? So I think with that age range, when they were kids, it was what we would refer to as the baby boomers, right? Prior to them and their parentals,
Yeah.
they're going to have the strong feelings, the strong racism feelings, right? And pass that along. And then the boomers were scared the whole time.
Yeah.
They got to live through civil rights as children.
Yeah.
And so there's a different outlet now where it was hidden for such a long time. The 80s, 90s, right? We got to see a couple things. Like I said, I got to witness the Rodney King riots in LA. But other than that, I hadn't seen anything, and it was kind of thrown under a rock up until 2000, or mid 2000s, early 2010s, right? And Kanye West said it best when he did the College Dropout album. He said,
Yeah.
racism is still alive. They just be concealing it. So it's been going on since the beginning of time. But now we're seeing it due to media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, right? Where those media outlets get to show us things, but at the same time, if I'm thinking towards those other hidden agendas, it's like, hey, we have an opportunity here. Let's start showing these things and giving them that access. So then this way it can help divide us even further.
Yeah.
Because you have people that are like, it's basic black and white. No, it's not. It's literally authority against civilization. I don't care. We have 3 different races within this room alone. And within this group here, I would say, Derek, I'm standing up for you. Ken, I'm standing up for you.
Yep.
You guys would do the same thing for me. And that's the way I think we need to start viewing things as a people.
Yeah. And honestly, in my viewpoint, I don't see color in the world. And that is the most funniest thing. Even though brought up with the tough demographic background, always looking to always have to work harder than the next person. Work harder than a white person. Not having the privileges and having the access, compared to a white person, right? For every Mexican, Chinese, any other races that I cannot even think the top of my head right now, always got to work harder, right? And that is the separation that I feel like there was a lot of ignorance when it comes to white people. They feel like they're just so high end superior. There's nothing that they wish. You start to see the generation changes, right? You start to see, I'm really going to touch the subject on, the white females, right? You start to see, with the Kardashians, right? Adding in assets, loving what the black, your community has established, everything being so natural given. And now you're seeing a lot of our generation being built. Either you get your titties, set, you get your ass, it's nothing becomes natural. You see lips getting done. Everything is just starting to change as a revolution because low key they want to be some type of shape or form being a part of the black community. It's not like they're trying to be like them. They just want to be a part of it, without openly admitting it, So that's when you see a lot of girls be like, oh man, you got a fat butt. Oh my God, like this and that. It's no, you just want to, you want to be accepted in the black community. You listen to their music, you bump their music, you like the black men, like it's just being a part of it. And then you have, the black community feeling offensive to it because you just want to take everything that we already didn't have from the beginning.
Wouldn't those be considered as culture vultures?
Yeah.
Straight up. It's one thing, and this is where I took offense over to something that was said over the weekend.
Yeah.
And it was one of those times I was actually watching CNN, and I will call him out right now. Van Jones Van Jones just set us back even further. And the reason why I say that is he said on this little snippet of appearance he had, he said it's not the racist white people, the KKK members that we have to worry about.
Okay, that was established from the Democrat Party. That was definitely established from them just to put fear in the black community.
Oh, of course. But he ended out his whole little speech with that white people, just white people in general, we have a virus within us that at some point snaps. So what he's pretty much telling me by watching that, or telling you if you're watching that, is you need to watch out for me, because me being a white man, I'm going to start questioning you as a black man. And that's not right, because that's not how this thing works. I've educated myself quite a bit in the black community and black history. And I can understand oppression when oppression is there. And I want what's always right for people as a people. If it's wrong for you, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to say something. And the worst treated person that I've ever seen as a whole is a black individual. Right? There's certain things, like I had my buddy come over to the house the other day. This man is like family. He's 15 years, rocking with me. This is like my brother, right? And he said, Mike, he said, I'm afraid to walk outside of my house, get in my car, and come out to Maricopa to come see you. And I thought about that for a second, like, because of everything that's going on. Nobody should ever feel that way. Nobody should ever feel that way. But I don't have that feeling. So if I don't have that feeling and he does, there's an inequality there, just right off rip, as basic as that may be. And that's what I say, like, we need to understand those things are facts. Those things are true.
I felt the same way when you were calling me and I was all the way up in North Scottsdale. Like, I had my mom blowing up my own phone. Like, I had to get away from that. But coming back and witnessing all that, it made me feel very overwhelmed. Like, damn, this is really happening, you know? And, I started overthinking and over, like, all the little things. Like, you see a cop car. Like, it's a typical feeling from a black African American to feel that feeling when they see a cop car. Immediately fear comes out. Or you have that feeling when you have a cop behind you, you would rather slow down so he can't stop you for any reason, right? Till this day, as a black man, I still have that feeling today.
Of course.
I would like to avoid any cop communication whatsoever because of just what we have gone through our past.
No, I agree. And that's where the problem lies. I may not feel comfortable when a cop is behind me, but there's other reasons.
Because we can't say we're United States when we're not really united, when there's major separations. There's major gaps that's telling us, like, oh, no, put fear on the black community, and we apply that pressure continuously.
Make African Americans look like a threat.
And then it comes back to the white privilege. Till this day, there are some people that don't think that there's no racism at all.
Which is ridiculous.
Completely blind, because what the media portrays and feeding that information, it's like, oh, they were just doing something bad. It was like, no, it's really there. Like, you just not being open-minded enough. You're not being aware. You're not going through that person's feeling. Like, I want to see a white person for a day going through a white man or female perspective, day in and day out, how hard it is, especially when you don't have the capital, you don't have the funds, right? Going through the hardship. I want you to feel that feeling. Because, like, you could never relate, you would never understand. Because that's so much pain. Like, I witnessed my mom as a single parent go through shelter homes. We were in the shelter homes, back to back, getting welfare checks, not able to even get a car because she didn't even have credit established. I witnessed her cry on her own 2 knees because she's a black woman.
And that's why it's something to always be proud of, and why when I can sit back and I can say, Ken, I've seen you from the start of Blue Capital.
Yeah.
And there's pride that I see just working with you in the sense of what we've built this up to be. This is your company, though. You have a successful company, right? So you've got to a point that a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
And when you talk about poverty, the most poverty-stricken race is the black race in America. Like, I'm talking about just within America itself,
Yeah.
not outside of the world. Outside, we
Yeah.
know that there's worse. But when you're talking about the difference between black and white, the African American community is forced to stay in poverty
Yeah.
because of the percentage of the wages that go out, the percentages of employment, right? That's why I put out there, like, what was it? What I put a post on my story and I named the other 3 cops.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm asking for 12.6% of America as to where you're at, right? 12.6% is the actual African American community within the in America,
Yeah.
right? That's what's being made up. So 12.6%, which is fairly large compared to, of course, the white race is 72%. But to say that even in that percentage, that African American culture and African American communities are still paid less than Caucasians and whites is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Because like we're put in a scenario basically in a box to not prevail and not to move, no progress. So when we're getting tempted with all these tough situations, like, you know, I remember when who was president that allowed cocaine coming into the country?
In the 80s?
Yeah, in the 80s.
Was it Reagan?
Yeah, it was Reagan. So what they did is that they were feeding cocaine into the black community. And we all know how that ended up.
Oh, the crack epidemic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a big domino effect. So again, putting fear and controlling a race, right?
Let's not forget the HIV epidemic as
Yeah.
well.
We could dive
Yeah.
into it.
That's what I'm saying.
There is a cure for it.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
There's a cure, but only for the people that, you know, especially in the higher ups in the world.
Your Magic Johnsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so we have everything, but what the higher ups want to do is they want us to suffer.
Yep.
It's because that's how they're gonna make money.
And let's be
If
real.
everyone was so good and so right, do you think you think all those people up there are gonna be really in the high end chairs just relaxing?
Oh, of course not.
No.
Because if
They're gonna have to work now.
Right.
Because like now it becomes competitive now. Like who's gonna overthrow them, right?
right. That's why it's up to us. It's
Yeah.
up to us to lay those barriers down.
Yeah,
we've been shown so much of the opposite race that says that black people are threats to whites.
Yes.
And whites feel like they're supreme to the other.
Yep.
That's rhetoric that is fed over and over again to keep people like yourself and myself apart.
Yep.
Where we have to say, you know what, regardless of any of that, let's buckle down, let's work together. If we could do that, then we could feed out the looters and the rioters, which let's talk about that real quick and how they were, those are the people that are planted in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like within that, the destruction portion, that's all. That's a lot of the fakeness of it. People are being fed into cities to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Because if anybody that's truly going to stand up for this whole situation and protest, and if they wanted to be destructive, they would be destroying government buildings. They're not going to destroy the AT&T business across the street.
I've been saying. Like the fact is that destroying hard-earned businesses, right? That people are a community and they go there day in and day out. Why, if you're looking for justice, right? That's not the route to go about. We've been in a pandemic. We've been having our rights taken away from us, telling us that we can't make any kind of shape of money. But if you're an entrepreneur, then you know it benefits you in a way. But the fact is that we're not tackling that situation. The government's that's holding us back, right? Keeping us content and not allowing us to prevail and hitting our 2020 goals. So we destroy and damage even small businesses, you know, big corporation that they know they're going to have that shit covered. But you're tackling small businesses too?
Right.
And then looting?
Right.
Like that is not going to bring our economy shape, or form.
Well-
I don't even care if there's been multiple deaths. That's not gonna go. That's not how you go about it. If you want to go to a problem, you go to the main source, and that's the government.
Yep. Go to your state capitol building. If they would have destroyed the state capitol building,
Yeah, everyone would have been excited. They'd be like, "Damn, this is really a protest."
well, you would have had the governor listen.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's
the,
what
go-
you
the
do.
governor honestly can't even make up his mind.
Right. Well,
he-
our governor's a fool.
Yeah, he really can't. Honestly, we should honestly have a new governor.
So
Multiple governors within our country.
So people are doing this in the name of retail, whether they're fed in or not. Either way, they're doing it in the name of retail.
Yeah.
And I think the most common post that I've seen recently is, I don't care about these retail businesses. They have insurance.
Yeah.
So I get
But
there's
we're talking about the small businesses that can't have insurance because they're still in this tough situation.
well, and even not just that, but even speaking on a bigger level,
Yeah.
right? So I'm curious if those that continue to say that, which don't let me down talk any of the anger. I get the anger to destruct. It's there, but you have to put that and divert that anger and energy into what needs to be destroyed.
Yeah.
The destruction needs to come to your, police headquarters, your government buildings, right? Those things. They'll get them to listen. If you destroy an AT&T building, or you destroy Neiman and Marcus or the Apple Store, I'm curious if everybody that actually says, "Hey, these people have insurance," do they know where that money comes from? And I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from other businesses and individuals, because I learned this.
Yep.
I learned this through my own process. I get my insurance, my home statement for 2019, and my insurance doubled. It was just over $700 for the year. It was close to almost $1,500 for my last one, which actually put me in my escrow account negative. I had to fill that up really quickly, right? So it's extra money that came out of my pocket. So I'm with Progressive, right?
Yep.
I called Progressive, and I was like, "Hey, I need to know why my insurance went up." They said, "Oh, so this is the way insurance works. You're with Progressive, but we cover all of our people that are underneath us. We've had a lot of natural disasters that have come about. So to rebuild those homes using that insurance, it causes everybody else's rates to go up."
Yeah.
So you know what you just did by destroying these retail businesses
Yeah,
here?
you just caused
You're costing
you're
everybody.
causing every consumer that's in our country for their bills to get even higher when we initially can't even afford it.
Exactly. And right now, because businesses have been shut down for 2 months,
Rates keeps going higher.
right? And not just that, but people are closing their businesses just because.
Yeah.
So if there's an underlying issues to where the retail businesses come into play, and it's not just to go destroy them, if there's something that's there to help them out, this is going to actually be something that could be used to help rebound the economy, because people are going to be able to start all brand new back over again, like COVID-19 never happened.
Yep.
The shutdown never happened.
Yeah, well, COVID-19 definitely has shown that nothing has happened.
Right.
Like
Except
nothing
except we are in extreme debt as a country.
Yep.
Businesses are closing. So maybe this is a way to get people to be able to write everything off as the losses. If that's the case, I can't necessarily talk down to it because it's helping those people. But I can tell you right now, your insurances, my insurances, Derek's insurances, regardless of who we're paying,
Yep.
they're all going to end up going up.
Yep.
We're, as the people, so all those looters and rioters did is they turned around and they hurt the civilization, the basic people
Yeah,
out here.
and themselves in the process as well too.
Yeah.
So enjoy what you guys stole and whatever from the businesses. That's only a temporary move. It's a materialistic thing that it's not going to benefit you.
Yep.
Because what we're looking at is a whole bigger picture perspective. So doing that, is it hurting? Is it hurting us as the people? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
those corporations are already going to have everything funded back. They already on it.
Oh, they're
the
taking-
next day, you know, you see Apple already on it, building, you know, construction their door that it was damaged.
Yep.
It's fine. It's not a loss for them,
Right.
but it's gonna be a loss for us.
That's why we
Because-
need to
because-
feed those people. We weed those people out.
Yeah.
And stay with the agenda of literally coming together as a
Yeah,
people.
as long as everyone stays together and becomes united. If you want to attack the government official buildings, go ahead. You know what? Because it's not coming from our pocket.
Right.
It's gonna be coming from the IRS. They're gonna be running that fat check.
Yep. I would rather put a bill on them than for me to sit here and have my.
I was
rates
telling.
go
I
up.
was even on the New York session. I was like, look, if we having a whole riot, I want them to attack the IRS building.
Absolutely.
Just destroy it.
Absolutely.
All those records gone.
Please do. I still owe $400 to those guys.
But diving in, and especially how this is really gonna get really spicy now.
Yeah, I think this is where we're going to let you kind of take over on this side.
In my opinion, I feel like all of this. If you guys, I'm just gonna really touch base on this. If you guys don't know who George Soros is, I highly recommend do your research. The only reason why I'm saying this guy's name is because he has really reaped the benefit from all of this. You know, he's been the biggest funder when it comes to Black Lives Matters. You know, I feel like every incident this year, especially with all of the black crime that's happened, just like, normal black man running, and then we had the two, I think, were they rednecks? I don't know what they were.
Yeah, the two white guys.
Yeah, two white guys. Excuse me for my language, calling them rednecks, but don't know who they are. But two white guys, and they gunned him down, right? And that happened a while ago. And that video hasn't surfaced up into social media just all of a sudden, and then it started trending because of social media, right? Everyone reposting, sharing it. This is fucked up, blah, 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 this and that. And then, because of social media, right? I'm going to say this one more time. Because of social media, justice was served. You had a person record it, right? And don't say anything. That's like a normal thing to do. All right, let's just gun a person down and keep it moving. Oh, I thought he was stealing. What? They said they thought he was stealing something.
Yeah.
How do you become the law enforcement at that point? And this is where the white privilege comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
If that shit never surfaced up, they would have just lived a normal life.
Oh, yeah,
They would
absolutely.
be like, yeah, it's fine, Typical day in the neighborhood, just gun down a black man, and we did gospel. And then they want to add religion into it, which I'm not going to dive into because that's a whole nother perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's so fucked up, and I feel like it only got surfaced up, and justice was served. And in my opinion, I feel like that was a motive for George Soros right there. If COVID-19 was an epic fail on gaining money in the markets, why not? Let's take it up a notch, right? Let's use our media. Let's use the media outlets because he owns a good amount as well too.
Wow.
He has capital to spend. The whole Mexico issue that he did. If you guys haven't watched that on YouTube, I think it's still there. It was ridiculous. The amount of money that he caused for him to reap benefit in the markets because of that. Don't give a fuck about lives. Just only care about his bank account getting bigger.
That's what everybody cares about, though, right?
Yeah. Everyone, even politicians. What politicians are doing right now to this day are just citing what is being the positive movement that everyone's being united. That's a whole cover front. Because they're really concerned about their seats
Oh, yeah.
for the next election. And diving down with the whole George Floyd situation, honestly, there's not enough report that I could see, in my own opinion, that I think he's still alive. I don't think he's dead at all.
There it is.
Don't think so. It just does not make sense. I watched the video. I watched the film from different angles. The camera cam wasn't on, which was very suspicious. That should have been on. That should have been clear indication that you could see a man completely dead. From the side when he got arrested and pulling to the side, they sat him down. He looked like he dropped an object on the ground, right? And they dragged him to the other side of the corner. I've seen a lot of arrests. I've lived in the hood. When you get arrested, you go in a vehicle. This wasn't the case at all.
Right.
How you get arrested, right? The two people coming out from a vehicle, right? Casually looking like they're walking away into the officers. Hey, where you going? mind you, the camera is just staying right there at these people. Like it's like basically leaving your boy all the work, right? He's taking a major hit. He's taking a major loss.
Yeah.
And then he gets dragged, and then it cuts off the video from there. And then the next scene that you see is the officer's knee down, hand in his pocket, like it's a casual thing to do. And then you have your other officers that plays the role, right? One on his body and then on the legs, and then you have the two just coming up right next there. No. The autopsy, right? That we saw makes no damn sense.
Well, yeah, there were 2 of them apparently done. There was a
You have 2 for one individual.
yeah, well, the family, the original one that came out that I had read, I actually sent it over to you,
Yeah.
the headline to it, and it said that he hadn't died of asphyxiation or strangulation. He died of toxins in his body and previous medical condition.
Okay.
And then the second one that the family had that was released yesterday said that it was official. He did die of strangulation and asphyxiation. So right now, I mean, for me, it's hard to believe either way. I don't know how we can say he's one or the other because there's points that could be on both of them. Because I saw something today that actually showed me like where this could be based on, like I was saying earlier, Masonic agenda.
Yeah.
And if that's what we're talking about, higher ups too. We're not talking about government. We're
Yeah.
talking about those families
Yeah.
that control everything.
Yeah, we could name them. I
Right.
think everyone's aware. You know, the Rothschilds,
Right. So
which owns the IRS. You
Yep.
know, they're the ones that are really eating off everybody.
So it was very interesting to see this because everything has been able to be broken down in numeric form. So I don't know. Like, of course, that's all conspiracy. So I can't say yes or no either way. I can only believe what I see with my own eyes.
I just want to see the justification when a person is announced dead, just like how any typical person would be announced dead.
See, I thought he was dead.
That's it. I'm not.
actual-
There's like no
on
conspiracy
camera.
behind it. We just want the logistics facts. That's it. If he died, then damn, that's so fucked up. Then I completely understand people's emotions and why they're reacting the way how they're reacting. But to some extent about the looting and destroying property, no, I completely disagree on that.
Oh, I agree too.
No,
I agree
no
with you on
person,
that.
no person should be doing that because of a death and then say it's for Floyd.
Right.
That is a contradiction to the full max.
That takes away the any positive
Yeah.
meaning because all you're doing is destroying.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you, because I'm after what I saw, I'm 50-50 on it
Yeah.
because I wasn't there.
Yeah,
But
I wasn't there either.
I
too.
thought he was gone on video, and I mean, should he be gone? Rest in peace, George Floyd.
Yeah.
I don't want this to seem anything disrespectful in
Yeah.
the way that we're talking about this, but my question to you would be: what is it that it would take for you to believe that he would be dead? What do you need to see to say, okay, you know what, this really actually happened?
Well, we would like to see, because this was like, you know, on all over media outlets. We would like to see just, you know, how the body is, you know, just like how anyone would see, you know, the autopsy being the correct information, the body cam from 3 cops to take one life away.
Well, the irony of the body cam is the same day that George Floyd passed away.
Yeah.
We had a shooting here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Now, if I remember correctly, because of everything that's happened over the past 5 or 6 years, body cams had to be on.
Yeah,
Right.
It's their law,
And when
especially for all the cops.
when Deion Johnson was shot and killed out here in Arizona on Memorial Day, same day as George Floyd,
Yep.
apparently we don't know the name of the cop. The body cam was not turned on, and the police are refusing to release any information because nobody knows any of the details.
Yeah,
There's no
so-
way to call them out to get them to force to come out
Yeah.
with the response. So that to me is going undiscussed at all.
Yeah. So you see how the media portrays that, right? They focus on something that we don't even have complete evidence control. They're just painting it and they're just putting it as Floyd. And then you have police precinct, they're defending a person that probably the dude that didn't even do anything, right? I believe that he was laying in his car, right, minding his
Yeah,
own
he was
business.
sleeping. He was tired. He pulled over, which
is normal to do. Like, I would rather have a person do that than continuously keep driving when you know you're tired and getting into a potential car accident.
Well, it's funny you say that. About 14 years ago, I had a DUI.
Yeah.
Right? And in the 2 classes that I took, I had to take 2 8-hour classes, and they were talking about being under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that officers consider being under the influence is when you're tired.
Yeah.
When you're exhausted, they tell you, pull over to the side and go to sleep. Well, this guy did that. He did that.
Mm-hmm.
And he still ended up with his life taken, right? But where's all that? And why did it take, how long was it? Almost, we're in June. We're 2 weeks, like 2.5 months, almost 3 months before we really started talking about Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
Right? So where's all that at? I mean, if we're going to talk about one, we need to talk about all, right? So the list is unfortunately very, very long list.
Long list of putting it under the rug.
Right.
Putting it under the rug. That's all we've been seeing. So for government officials to keep seeing all this, like, do they think that people are just going to want to be excited to somewhat live the life that they want to live or resume after all of this keeps happening?
I will tell you why I say yes to that. Because in the next 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the worst part about it.
I know, which is sad. Because the way how everything is portrayed, look at how Corona has gotten forgotten.
Oh, already.
Now
Nobody
we're already on talking about racial tensions now, right?
Mm-hmm. The rhetoric
people
has
are
been
now
switched.
people are not wearing masks. I see people wearing masks, which is kind of ridiculous now. People are not, using that whole cleaning procedure they're doing. Stores are not doing it anymore. It's slowly just again forgetting.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. The narrative is completely different now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I feel that, this is going to be overlooked fairly quickly. We can't forget who these people are, but that is, like you're talking about, should they actually have passed, have their lives actually taken.
Yeah.
So for me, like I said,
I just think everything is just completely staged.
And
I don't believe a damn word from any media outlets. I've been saying this since I was 10. And I've never believed a damn word. I think everything's been staged, all by George Soros, continues to keep. We have the whole portrayed on social media, right? Everyone's posting the black posts. No one is really going into any meaning behind it. Everyone is just following a damn trend. And that is our problem with our society. We follow too many damn trends to not even realize, okay, what is the reason behind we're doing this, right? How could I be a better person to go into depth the reason why we're supporting this cause, right? Mm-hmm. But everyone just follows a trend, and then it's going to be forgotten in the next 2 or 3 months. And then there's going to be another incident that's going to happen. It might be a massive shooting.
Right.
As fucked up as that sounds, I'm saying that right now, and I'm not wishing upon that's going to happen, but there is going to be another phase.
Oh, none of this stuff is done.
Yeah, so for everyone
Corona's only on pause,
everyone
by the way.
should be awakened. Your government is not what you perceive that it should be. It's not. Mm-hmm. You guys got to understand, the government is a business.
Yes.
They're not here to help the American people. They're here to support all of the politicians to make sure their seat is nice and warm and ready, and being profitable, and so on and so on. That's why we're told every president is a damn puppet, but Trump is refusing to be a puppet, right? So everything that is becoming a historical event or supposed to be a historical event is a transaction. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I feel like we're really living the movie The fucking Matrix right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're looking for the leader, Neo, to save the chosen one, right?
Right. So
and it's sad. Honestly, it's really sad that we're becoming our own false reality and we're in it. Also, like the movie Truman.
The Truman Show?
Yeah.
Yeah. There could be cameras on us right
now.
now.
Well, when is everybody gonna wake up?
That's why I've said it, and it was funny. I was joking about it, but it could be true. whenever we do these, like I've posted a couple things on Twitter, I've posted some things that are on Instagram, and especially when you're talking about using an iPhone, your government taps into the iPhones. Period. It's the most used phone.
There's
right?
no sense of privacy. If you thought there was privacy, you're wrong. Your laptops, your TVs, being martial law, being stuck, they're watching you like you're the Truman Show.
So
They're seeing everything.
I've clicked send on these posts.
Yep.
And I'm sitting down here with you to do this podcast, not only because, I love doing it, but because, like you said, this is the platform where maybe people will be able to listen to different ideas, right?
Yeah.
We do
Be
this
more
for everybody.
open-minded. That's
right?
the whole reason. Be more open-minded. Don't believe what you hear. Do your research. The research is for free. Is there.
I'm just not going to be surprised if at one point I'm at my house and I get a knock on the door and it's the feds talking about, let's go. We heard what you said.
Yeah.
I send it knowing that could be a possibility.
I was like, hey, if it happens, I could give them all that smoke. I don't go to the gym for no reason. So
facts, and I mean with the way that
nope.
With the way that everything goes, as long as you're like, and I don't want to necessarily say the word woke, but I'd say aware.
Yeah.
Aware.
Yeah, be very aware.
Right. If you're aware, you look at what's going on, you start thinking on two different sides of the token and start putting your emotions behind it, which is funny because what's the first thing you have to do in trading?
Yeah. Remove your emotions.
Exactly.
Remove
People
your
are just
emotions.
out here a lot. They're riding
really
the emotional train.
Yeah.
Let's look at
if we could really honestly remove our emotions from everything in aspects of life, do you know how further people will be successful? Just mentally, physically, spiritually, more frequently, financially.
Yeah, but if you removed all your emotions from everything,
in certain subjects,
okay.
though.
All right.
Not completely everything. You're gonna have your emotions like if when you want to love someone, that's completely reasonable. But like when it comes to like serious matters, that is where you're gonna have to have a clear judgment when it comes to things.
Yeah, well, emotion is what I feel that they feed off of.
Yeah.
Right.
They
when
eat it a
they
lot.
know something is working, and when I say they, again, I'm talking about those higher powers that be when they see, oh my gosh, these people are reacting, and they're acting emotionally. They've already won, just like the damn market.
Yeah.
When you were emotional, you get out of a trade too early and you accept a drawdown loss rather than just let it move, the market wins.
Yep.
When you miss out on a trade because you waited too long, there's a way to get in and there's a way not to get in. If you can avoid FOMO, but if you get in at the right time and you still pass on it because you want to see it go, the market wins. You don't take its money, right? This similar to a situation. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking in trading terms the whole time because of this.
Yeah.
This is drawdown right now. This whole situation is drawdown.
Yeah.
And what do we need to do? We need to come together to prevail and start hitting in the profit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, I mean, I don't have the answers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I know the best answer that we could give for everyone is, one, be very aware. Two, fuck the media.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, really, fuck the media, because honestly, they're just paid to do what they're paid to do. And I feel like, honestly, when they're done saying this shit, do you think they actually believe what they fucking even said?
Oh, absolutely
No,
not.
like,
they
no.
do things to give us settlement. And in fact, should this whole situation be real where George Floyd has passed, the third degree charge, the third degree in manslaughter
Honestly,
charges.
if none of those other cops get charged with the same degree, then it's gonna be oh my god.
Oh, absolutely. This is for anybody my warning to Minnesota.
Yeah.
My warning to
and the
Minnesota.
governor's being, I don't even want to say it.
And when, I'm curious is when does the local government, let alone the federal government, see something that's clear first degree murder on here? That's clear first degree murder.
Yep.
I don't care. When do they see that and not step in? So you have 3 cops right now that are not being charged. They're just out there. You have one that has third degree, which third degree talks about without natural intent, right? That was first. I don't care what anybody says. Because, I mean, overall, like I said, I still am more on the side. I'm about 50-50, but I'm more on the side that he's gone. Only because I've never heard of Philando Castile or Sandra Bland, right?
Yep.
Like, these people are gone. You know what I mean? So I can't. I still rest aside on that. But either way, this is it's wild that none of that justice is going to take place if that's the case. They got to step up and do something and make these people feel accountable. Nobody in trading can't. You have to be accountable for your own account, right? You have to be accountable for what you've lost. You have to be accountable for what you've done, what trades you've done, etc. You have to be accountable in life, period. Accountability is huge.
Yeah, that's all we have is to have each other and prevail through these tough times because everyone is in the same scenario. No one's working. Everyone has time. Everyone has to be supportive. Everyone has to carry a way that we have never carried ourselves before. And that becomes very, 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 very important because if we have the collaboration of unity, that shows us that, the government really ain't shit.
Right.
We got to show them that they don't have us controlled as they think that they do.
Right. Prove them
And
wrong.
yeah, if we keep proving them wrong and we show them consistency, like, look, we're already as dominant as we are, but since we have been having the wrong insights of taking what the media has been giving us, we doubt ourselves, right? Thinking that, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, this is not possible. Like all this race has been happening. This is never, we could make the change. And this is coming from a black man saying it. Like, I'm tired of seeing the whole racial shit. Like, I see it all the time going into the elevator and I get looked different or I don't belong, But you know what I say? Fuck that. I don't have a comfort zone. So you could show your insecurities and I'm just going to smile at it because like you got to go through obstacles to become a better person, right? And understanding that from a different point of view and being very open-minded and showing unity, like that's what we need. We can't be portrayed as, oh, this is what it is and change is never going to happen because if you have that mentality of that mindset, then it's never going to happen, right? So with all of this going on, like
And until we
the
come
government
together,
needs us more than anything we need them.
Oh, absolutely.
Without us, there's no America.
how do the
There's
police
nothing
officers get
yeah,
paid?
There's nothing being run.
We pay their salary,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, for me, like you said, the government needs us. They need us to be pawns in this game. We need to step up and be better than that.
Yeah. So right now the government is so from the chessboard, right? You have the government. I actually have this as a picture as well too. So you have the government as the king. You have the corporation as the queen. What's next?
Well, regardless, the people on the front line are the basic civilians,
Yeah.
right? The pawns.
So then you have you have the corporation, you have the media, you have the military, then you have the police, and then you have us as the pawns.
Of course.
But people keep sleeping on the pawns. The pawns could make some significant moves.
It's up to us.
If it's up to us, but if it's playing strategically, right? And if we play it along, everything could fall down.
Yeah, if you play the right way, a pawn can take out a queen and a king.
Just one move to the left or right, boom.
Yep.
That's
Exactly. Exactly.
So we just gotta look at this scenario as chess.
Everything is chess, not checkers. Checkers is the one that you practice.
Checkers
on.
is
Chess
the people
real life.
that will be looting and damaging property.
Yep.
You're not going anywhere. You're just only hurting yourself.
Chess is the one that's going to be the game that's very strategic.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, anybody that's watching this or listening to this,
Yeah.
I said it on Instagram.
I said my piece. I feel like everything is funded, everything by George Soros, but that shouldn't stop us because of a man that has capital that feels like he could just buy people and cause havoc and for all capital gain. Like he don't give a fuck about anything. He just cares about his ugly. I hate looking at his ugly ass face. Like, man, if I could meet that man in person, I'll give him a nice left hook. But I'm not gonna even resort to violence. So like everything has been, staged out strategically. bricks at riots. You know, literally, I saw a video of a cop really supplying the bricks.
Oh, I've seen multiple.
There's a lot.
There
I'm
was
not
some
saying. I'm
in
not
Boston,
saying.
by the way.
Yeah, and
You
it's
saw that?
sad, and I am from Boston, like crazy. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but there's a lot of dirty apples in all of these precincts.
Well, when you're
all
talking
over.
about that as well,
Or getting paid, who knows?
right? So when you're talking about there's not all bad cops. The thing that I asked, and I was talking about this
does
on
it-
Saturday.
But for the people that actually are, so for example, there is several bad cops. Are those people that are alongside as their partner witnessing it? Are they considered bad cops as well?
The only way that I consider them bad cops is if they keep silent.
That's
You're
true.
just so it's guilty by association. If you and I are in the same area, we're
Yep.
together, right?
Yep.
And I go steal something, and you had nothing to do with it, and we get caught, you're getting guilty by association.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get the same ticket I'm getting. Right? So you know what? Hold them accountable as well. I said this the other day on the conversation I had. It was like 2 hours long, and I told my buddy, I was like, what I want to see is this. I want to see those good cops that say, hey, there's good cops that are out here, right? I want to see you take your helmet. I want to see you take your badge. I want to see you put it on the ground. And I want to see you walk with people, right? And lo and behold, on Sunday, Flint, Michigan's sheriff did that, right? I saw the New York police chief. The New York police chief was in a mob of people.
Yeah.
And he even said, so this is where it turns out that I believe that there's people that are being fed into the looting and stuff for the emotional side, right? He said, don't let these people take over your city. Don't let them do this.
Yeah.
If you're going to protest, I protest with you. But don't let these people take over the city, right? This is ours. This is our place, right?
Yep.
And then he sat there. He knelt down with the mob, and they actually had like good movement, which is fine. Those are the type of things that I want to see. I want to see those good cops stand up, because I don't see how you can be a great cop, a good-hearted cop, understand what's going on out here, and still wear that badge proudly.
Yeah, most definitely.
I don't see that. Granted, your hard work is there. You've put your own emotion into it. It's your job. And you might go out there and you might take care of people and protect them. But when you know that this is going on everywhere, I don't care what city it is, there's dirty police in every single city. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
Stand up for that. Stand up for that. I wanted to see the people, the officers in D.C. when D.C. was really getting out of hand on Friday night and Saturday. I wanted to see one of those cops do that. Put your badge on the ground. I'm no longer a cop right now. I understand what's right and what's wrong for what people are, and this is what I'm standing for. But people are afraid of losing that pension.
Yeah.
Those officers losing that pension,
like I said,
losing that paycheck.
Like I said previously, it all comes down to money.
Yep.
It all really comes
People
down
want to
to
stay in
money.
that comfort zone
Yeah.
too.
And that's a problem. When you have more people leaving outside of the comfort zone, it becomes way more of an opportunity than where you're currently at.
Yeah.
So when you keep staying in that, and then you want change at the same time, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Oh,
I agree. And speaking of kneeling, where's Colin Kaepernick?
Nowhere to be found. He got his. I'm telling you, the man got paid. He felt like he did his thing, and he's gone. And another subject that I really want to touch base on is that we have all these celebrities that we want to look for. Honestly, I want to really talk shit about Jake Paul, which I found it really ridiculous that he was here in AZ when all of the looting and wanted to say that what he was trying to get his views up.
Yep. Well, no, he wanted to document.
Yeah, he
what was
wanted to
going
document.
on. Yeah. You see this, Jake Paul, right
Yeah.
here, bro.
So
You took part in destroying what I'm working in right now.
yeah,
So
it's interesting because I'm using my platform and it's not as big as Jake Paul, probably even like a crumb to his. And the fact is that I'm using it to giving out awareness, right? Where you have someone that has a huge following for doing a lot of stupid shit,
Yep.
right? And not seizing advantage to give a better awareness to the public eye. You are in the midst of all that, right? and you chose to do the complete opposite of documenting it.
And what were you doing in Arizona
Yeah,
anyway?
Yeah, for a person that makes so much money, you came down from the Hollywood Hills to be part of all of the recklessness that was happening.
Yeah.
So basically, you being there, you were supporting it. I don't care if you're documenting it, you were supporting it.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
and that's a huge issue that I have for a lot of these so-called celebrities, is that when all of these tough times coming up, okay, before I even dive into that, remember when all of these celebrities were in IG lives talking about the most stupidest shit?
Oh yeah.
You have Tory Lanez going on here. You have girls twerking their asses and putting milk on their butts, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Where is that? Where is talking about the tough times? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Why are people rioting? Why you're not, putting your voice out there? Why? Because they're concerned about their own brand and their own money.
I'll tell you the realest one out of any of them, J.R. Smith. You see what he did the other day?
No, I didn't.
So a rioter went, like, he was destroying his vehicle, and J.R. Smith caught him. J.R. Smith walked up to him and beat his ass. And he did a video and said, you know what? I'll be the first one before anybody sees this video. When it comes out, he said somebody was trying to break into my car, trying to loot, do what they were doing, and I whooped his fucking ass. I was like, JR, do your thing, bro. Protection. He's protecting his own, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been about protecting people, but I'm always going to protect my own until you bring bullshit to my door. You bring bullshit to my door, we can have it out, right? Don't bring the bullshit to my door. Don't do that shit.
Bro, it's just really sad. Like, honestly, it's really sad for all these people that have these huge followings. What I really wanted to see is, for once in my life, to see the black community of all these people, of all these artists. You have Drake, you have all these people all come in one and just say a big ass message like how they did when Kobe Bryant passed away. That's it.
Yep.
You guys all came and you all related to what he went through in his career. And, RIP Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite athletes of all time. But damn, why can't all these people come together? This is United States of America. Use your platform to your advantage. If I was verified and I had a huge ass following, I'd be like, yo, I'll be hitting up everyone. Be like, yo, let's try to find a way to have everyone calm, peace, spread awareness, love. It takes a message to do that. Mm-hmm. But no, we stay quiet. This is our own people getting affected.
Right.
Right? You're tired of seeing it. You say you guys are tired of seeing it, but you guys don't act on it. The action is this actually happening is exposing who for what people are.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're staying quiet during all this shit, those are the people that you shouldn't even be affiliated with, because
Agreed.
they just care about for their own.
Agreed.
If you're not selfless during this situation, then you're only caring for yourself or your own brand or your own money.
And I don't mean to shit on Colin Kaepernick's idea of the protest.
No, it wasn't.
Because I was for that.
It wasn't a bad idea, but it's contradicting to the fact is that you're not following through what you actually initially started.
Right.
So you did it for a paycheck. And let's just be real. Let's just call it for what it is.
And that settlement. That's what I call him out for.
Yeah, he did it for a paycheck.
You should have never settled with the
right?
NFL and pulled that lawsuit.
Yeah.
You should have had that lawsuit, seen it through, because that's what you believed in. When he settled for that money, and now he's silent, right? He might have his Twitter. He might have his...
Now he's a fucking walking meme now.
Yeah. And the unfortunate side is you can literally say, for Colin Kaepernick, we tried this before as far as the silent protest, which is a valid argument. The silent protest was shot down. Mm-hmm. So you know what? These are the type of protests that are going to need to happen then. Yeah. Without the looting and whatever, but these type of protests, these loud, outlandish, disruptive protests, this is apparently is what's needed, right? So you know what? Yeah, tried that before. It didn't work. Unfortunately, it failed. But where are you marching? I haven't seen you march, bro. Maybe the media doesn't want to put him online, but I haven't seen on TV. But I haven't even seen anything about Colin Kaepernick does this, right? You should be out there. If is he still living in the Bay Area?
I think so. I don't think he got anywhere else to live. He got his money.
And Oakland is one of the worst places where everything is going on. So, bro, where are you? Where was your stance? Unfortunately, he took that big ass check. And like I said, I supported his whole movement. I didn't watch the NFL. I boycotted that shit. Everything. You turn on the NFL, I'm out the room. But when I saw that, I was like, you know what? If he can settle and he's going to make this like to where it's all about him, why? Like, why would I stop just doing what I'm doing? Right? So
No, don't say Cam did, but no one backed him up. That's the whole point of stepping in what you believe in. If you don't need people to back you up, as long as that you stay consistent and you keep prevailing, people will eventually see that consistency. That's what it starts with, and that's where a lot of people is really lacking in our generation. We don't stick to something and follow through with it.
Right.
We just say it, and then 3 months later, boom, it's a whole new thing.
Eric Reed has, and I respect the hell out of Eric Reed. He's gone through random drug test after random drug test, which when you have 7 or 8 more than the next person on the list, that does not become random.
Yeah.
They're looking for the reason to get rid of you. Let's not be stupid. And he's passed every single one of them. He's been fine. And he's still in the NFL. He's rocking it, but he's still on his knee during the beginning of every game.
Yep.
If we had that unification within all of the NFL, which I would say, here you go, the nation's fastest growing sport, the NFL, right? People are afraid of losing those paychecks and getting suspended. If they said fuck that and they stood up, the silent protest would have probably worked. But there was not enough backing for it.
Yeah, it's just too much ego, too much pride. They feel like no one wants to take the lead. Like I always refer back to, damn, how did Martin Luther King felt? He took a lead when, even though like people doubted him, and he still prevailed, still kept consistent. You realize all the ones that died, and I'm talking about with Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King,
Malcolm X.
What do they all have in common? They all got shot for doing something good.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Why? Because this nation doesn't want to see do-gooders.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens when you have
If you realize, not just even in Nipsey Hussle, Biggie, Tupac, who else that got shot?
If Tupac was around right now, this would be a whole different game.
Like every good person gets shot.
I personally think Biggie was the excuse for Tupac, but Tupac had something going on. And back in the late 90s, it was really aware, like the government was really on him with what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we got to take this man out before he was a revolutionary.
Yeah.
We need to take this man
they
out
don't
before
like
something happens.
People causing a big movement.
Of course not. Because
that
that's a threat.
Yeah, that's a threat, and it disrupts their plan and their agenda.
So you know what? As a people, you can take over, 2 or 3 people, but you can't take over 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, right? There's not that many cops.
Honestly, I feel like the government right now is currently they're capped out, and they're gonna be looking to be more dramatic now. Like COVID-19 was a flop. If everyone keeps being united and being strong, this is gonna be a flop. There might be a couple more phases to really keep testing everyone of how consistent they are towards election. So honestly, it's really interesting to see how all this is going to play out. But like I said previously before, everything here is staged. Like this is what the government and the higher ups are planning to do.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to see it to get their way as much as possible. Like they have a lot to lose.
There is an agenda here that we are not told, we are not aware about, but I think we can all defeat if we start looking to both sides. People are so engulfed in me.
Yeah. This is not about us. This is we. We need to change that mindset and that vocabulary to we.
Right.
So once we do that,
and let's throw it back into trading real quick as far as trading terms.
Yep.
When you go out there and you're hot-headed, right? When you're trading, what is that called? Revenge trading.
Yeah, revenge trading.
Right?
Your mind is not there. It's not clear. You start not believing of any of your confirmations in the market.
You're just going straight off of emotion right here.
Straight
Boom,
off emotion. And that's what is happening right now. Like,
and what happens? You lose before you even start.
Yeah.
We always say that, whether you're chasing trades or revenge trading, you lose before you start.
Picture, you start to realize, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, and by that time,
it
could be too late.
It becomes too late, and that's a lesson that you're gonna have to hold for the rest of your life.
Exactly. So this is a very difficult thing for me to say, especially because I'm white to a point.
Yeah, you're very white.
Yeah, I'm very white.
Yeah.
Although I have been told I'm invited to every barbecue over the past week, though.
Man, you see this, man? This guy.
So what I would say is this, though, and I just want to throw a little humor in there.
Yeah.
Cooler heads will always prevail.
Yeah.
Right. So I would challenge everybody, instead of throwing out these posts calling people out for their opinions, use the verbiage "I agree to disagree."
Yes.
Right, because then that can end a conversation that is going sideways, and it still allows people to actually move forward and progress. Right, you might have different views. Everybody's got their own opinion.
Yep.
Start using "I agree to disagree" and just move forward from it. Right, and take a step back and understand that, hey, we might need to take a couple breaths, and say, okay, I'm gonna create a strategic plan for this. They have a strategic plan for us. We need a strategic plan for them.
Yeah.
And when I say us, I'm talking about us as civilization against the authority. I respect authority as long as authority is being done correctly. I have no problem being accountable for my faults.
Yep.
I have no problem being accountable when I do something wrong. But if I don't do anything wrong, don't try and fuck with me, please. Just let me be. Just because you have a quota, just let me be. Right? And I think if everybody would just, like I said, take a step back, stop revenge trading and putting so much emotion into this, as far as we need to start tearing shit down, this, that, and the other. No. We can create a plan as a people. I think we can really do that. And that's what's going to bridge everybody together.
Yeah.
People want the answer. The answer is there in front of us. It's right there, and it's the easiest thing to do. But the hardest thing to do is swallow pride. The hardest thing to do is listen to other people. The hardest thing to do is respect opinions, right? All those things fuel and add into what needs to change.
Yeah.
And if I think that happens, we're on the right track. And then it's like, okay, we've now assembled whites, blacks, browns, right? Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And before we wrap this up, what is your insight? Because I know a lot of people always talk about change, and make sure you guys vote. What is your insight for what the true change needs to happen for us to actually know that we're moving forward in change?
All right. So I have a different view on voting.
Yeah.
And
I completely agree what you're going to say. So,
I think voting is a bunch of bullshit.
yeah.
Okay. And the reason I say that, yes, we have the right to vote, but we've been given that right as a settlement.
Yes.
Right? Once the popular vote actually is taken into play, and it's an overall popular vote, as long as the Electoral College is there, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Right? So, personally, what I think needs to do for change in that case is everybody needs to not vote.
Yeah.
If you have nobody show up to the polls and nobody does anything,
No one's getting elected.
nobody gets elected, right? Because it's supposed to be on us.
Actually, that should be the main focal point for this year.
What? Not
That
voting?
No. That should be the honest change that needs to happen. If no one votes, if everyone unites and no one votes, that is gonna raise some major red flags.
Well, it's going to do two things.
Oh,
It's either
my
going to expose that voting is bullshit.
Yes.
Or it's going to force the change to say, okay, what do you guys need? Because we need a leader here.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Electoral College.
Yep.
The Electoral College has been set up to make us feel like our vote counts.
Yeah. Which
But
it doesn't.
guess what? I can tell you there's how many people? 7 million people in Arizona? Our state is worth, what, 8 Electoral College votes?
Yep.
So Arizona's that nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
They look for California. They look for Florida,
New
Ohio,
York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all the
right?
big states.
They look at those ones
Yep.
and say, if as long as I win these, I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm.
The last election proved that because Hillary Clinton won. Now, not that I'm saying Hillary Clinton was better than Trump because they
she
both
would have been a disaster.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic as
Yeah.
far as the Clintons themselves. I
Yeah.
think they are a dirty, dirty fucking family, by the
yeah.
way. But overall, it showed perfectly that the popular vote was her and she still lost. So if that doesn't work and people still are like, oh, go vote, go vote, go vote. Fine. You know what? Go do what you're going to do. But we're going to still continue with the same situation because we need to change the system. There's a lot of things that need to be changed. The voting process needs to change. Even down to merchant processing. Merchant processing is like all the rules and regulations for credit cards and financials are based on the Truth in Lending Act of 1968.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me that processing, transactions, money, spending has not evolved since 1968?
Nope.
Time to redo that whole fucking bill.
Yeah.
Right? So there's
Because
things
they've
that,
been profiting it throughout the whole decades and decades after that.
everything out there is old and needs new.
Yeah.
It needs to be revisited. It's time.
I think a lot of bills needs to be revisited.
Oh
be
yeah,
honest.
absolutely.
Because the fact that we could have a 5G bill be passed and
Under our eyes
under our eyes, like
and not
come
know
on.
it. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel that there needs to be certain extremes, but the only thing that I ask for, I will respect you as much as you respect me. If you don't respect me, I don't need you around me. But do I want to see you not eat? No, eat. I want to see you successful. You're just not going to eat at my table.
Nope.
Right? I've said this many, many times. I don't want to tear anybody down. That's not my goal, is to do that to anybody, because I want everybody to prosper.
Yeah.
That's why I spend so much time in the news and the fundamentals and provide that value to the students when we're on calls, right? We have great conversations.
Yep.
People learn certain things like, oh my gosh, I never realized that. Well, guess what? I spent that time to do that because I want you to prosper. Why we charge, $150 a month?
Yeah,
right?
I keep it affordable.
Extremely affordable
not,
because
not trying to break people's pockets, because I know everywhere elsewhere everyone is trying to break people's pockets.
Right.
So the way how I look at everything is just that I love doing the complete opposite of the masses of people. Am I going to be posting what everyone's been posting in IG? No. I like to create my own wave and I like to create my own trend.
Right.
So like to make that very simple, like the fact is like I don't need to be on the live sessions. I don't need to even contradict what I even offer for a service because it sells itself.
Right.
But I enjoy being on there because creating a whole community is fun.
well, not just that. We want to create. How many people we have in there right now? Like
Like
six,
we have 600 plus.
Right?
I don't even know. Like
600 plus.
Yeah, let's-
and I want 600 plus beasts that can make their own
Yeah.
money, because that just means that there's going to be
and
600 more people.
It's not even that like also being
prospering.
independent. It's just that we have like really deep conversations, you know, even regarding to like the mindset, like, you know, adversity, you know, tough times. What are you taking away from the live sessions every single day?
Right.
You know, right? And that speaks volumes. Like even today, like I wasn't even aware that I was just giving out value after value after value. It's because I was just speaking just from what the experiences that I could share to people, and that becomes way more relatable.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
from there, it's like it's either you could apply that value that you have been sent to you, or you could just be like, all right, yeah, it was a great session.
Right. No, I agree. And that whole spiel speaks to what Blue Capital does.
Yeah.
And what we want. We don't
Yeah,
want
and the
people
best
falling
part
behind.
too, like best part too, I'm never gonna increase the price too.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
want people falling behind. We want it to be affordable so you can prosper, and then it's your choice to be a part of the community. At one point, when you can do your own thing, you can be a part of the community as much as you want to be. And there's a lot of people that are like, look, even when I'm making 5, 6, 7 figures, I'm still going to be a part of this community because it's our family, right? If
Yep.
we can, that's what I'm concerned for as far as my direct worry
the
is
outside,
my family.
Yeah, the outside world might not be as united as we think that it is, but being a part of Blue Cap is more united than ever.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that proved last night.
From the outside, people could see that. Like, you know, especially even like how I even talk about like just being on the sessions, and you know, I am my true element. You know, everyone knows that I talk shit about everyone on the damn Zoom calls. I even talk shit about my damn self. You know, and it's a great time. It's a blast. And then there's moments of where, you know, we mature up and we take life critical, you know, moments that we could apply to our daily life routines.
Yeah.
Right. And that becomes the most greatest takeaway from it. And it becomes so raw and authentic that it's just like, boom, damn, this is really a vibe, you know?
And I think that the more people that we've had, I've seen over the past week or so, I've seen so much positivity,
Yeah.
right? You know, when there's always going to be some form of a hiccup, right?
Yep, of course.
And if you look in Discord, there was conversation in there that you got very emotional, but it was able to be brought back and reined in because we respect each other, right?
Yeah.
My London session last night, I didn't even give out any trades because I didn't like the market. And, you know, I don't trade on Mondays anyway.
Yeah.
So in that case, like I wanted to look to see if there's anything for anybody else, but I didn't see anything. But we still stayed on and we had conversation. And that conversation turned out to be fairly positive the whole time. We respected each other. Everybody got to speak their mind, speak their words, right? It was literally about the situation. And by the time we got off, I had a couple DMs with people and I'm like, look, we had great conversation. This is why I love this community, because we can speak opinions and not be judged for them.
Yep.
Right?
Most definitely.
So that's just translating into the world of if we have, you know, 5 more people that come in, 10 more people that come in, they're going to be able to see that. And hopefully Blue Capital can actually change more than just people into traders. You know, it starts with me and you at the top,
Yep.
right? With me and you running the calls, we have to feed that energy in.
Yeah.
Right? And as we continue to do that, I want people to be able to spread that same positivity out, you know. And if people can stay positive, we can learn from mistakes, we can learn from losses, etc. I think that we can actually prevail as a people.
Yeah,
Period.
most definitely.
You
I
know?
completely agree, and I'm all for it. Like I thrive. Like I told everyone today, I want to be everyone's hype man in Blue Cap. Like
Facts.
that shit is so exciting. Like I thrive off testimonials of people that have been like struggling, and like I don't know. Like it's just it's really an unexplainable moment that you have within yourself that you're like, damn, like this person, you know, took the time to invest in themselves, applied what was needed to be applied, and then just run with it.
Yep.
Like I love when people hit the goals. Like, I mean, you know me, I don't like talking about like my accomplishments. Like, you know, I don't find that really motivating for myself, because I just manifested for so damn long. Like, so when I hear other people coming in, and I don't know, it's thrilling, you know, like, and what separates from Blue Capital from any other academy is that you're not gonna find the type of engagement that you have from us at the top, you know, with the students.
Yeah,
You know,
agreed.
day in and day out, like
Agreed.
day in and day out, like day in and day out.
Agreed.
Should I say it one more time?
Day in.
Day in and day,
Day
out.
out.
So, and it becomes fun. It doesn't even feel like we're even on a Zoom call. Like everyone comes, they greet each other, you know, and so it's pretty cool.
Well, what I planned on doing 30, 45, maybe an hour last night turned into 4 hours. I was
Man,
like, whoa, time flies.
That time flies, you know. Sometimes there were times I'll be on New York session and we drag up to like 10 in the morning. I honestly would be taking a nap, and most of you guys be like, "Oh, where did
Yawning it down because I'm still recovering from last night, and I got to do London session again. Like,
Oh man,
I'm kind of lightweight, hoping I don't see anything, but we'll see. But
Man.
either way, you know, just kind of wrapping it back in here for what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to see people just do better, be open minded.
Yeah,
That's
most
it. That's all I can
definitely.
ask for. You know,
like this is the time that we're not gonna get back, especially in our youth. So this is the best time for you guys to better yourself in every aspects of life. You know, being very aware of what the government is feeding us, and then you have the choice to either take the bait or create something out of it. You know, so like I said, everyone has options at the end of the day.
Yep.
You know, it's just how you choose to do with it. Everyone has the same 24 hours, so there's no excuses that you should be giving yourself. So, and yeah, I think we really covered a lot during this
I
episode.
do. Like I said, I just hope to reiterate what we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
I hope this gets people to think.
Yes, that's the whole moral of this episode, is to get you to think. Of course, have your opinions and what you feel. Go with your gut feeling on what makes sense, what becomes more logic, right? More that becomes more relatable to the masses of people, so you guys could become more unified than you think that you were.
Yeah.
Right? And then that becomes the most greatest vehicle ever. Like, no one could take or destroy a united group of people, or even the nation as being completely united. Seeing the true colors for what it is during this tough times, you know, like where everyone is in a rock bottom, right? So it's either that we climb up together in this situation, or we keep pushing down further with the government's bullshit.
Right. Well,
So-
I mean, the further we get pushed down, the further that finish line gets. We need to get closer to the finish line.
Yeah.
So those that are already with Blue Cap, you already know that this family will accept you as is. So if you get tired of, you know, the BS narrative that you're seeing on TV, whatever it may be, hey, you know, like, that's what we're here for. We're
Yep.
here for a breath of fresh air to
Yep.
say, hey, people can listen. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, you know, I hope that everybody, like I said, thinks and starts listening and responds based on fact rather than respond based on being defensive.
Yeah.
You know, that's, I think, a big problem as far as communication goes, is that people don't want to open their ears and listen.
Yeah.
And if you open up your ears and listen, you might be able to have somebody else start
Yeah,
thinking.
and also don't be proudful. Like, you know, don't let pride get the best reaction out of you. Like, you know, take everything into consideration and making sure that everything's applied the right way. You know, so
Facts.
like this is a judge-free zone because no one has never been in this situation before.
Right.
So this is a great time for everyone to be united as much as possible than ever.
And what did Bruce Almighty say? See the change, be the change, or see the miracle, be the miracle, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think something like that.
I mean, as basic as that sounds, it literally starts with who you are. If you can look in the mirror and say, "Damn, I need to be accountable for me." Think of somebody. Why do I not like them, right? And if you can't come up with something that they've personally done to you to the point to where it's like, "Hey, there's no reason for me to like you." Well, you don't have to like anybody, but just understand that they're a person within the world.
Yep.
Take accountability for any of the hatred you have. Stop having hate within your heart. And like I said on my post, I ended out my post the other day when I was working and I had to send it because all I saw was all this shit. I said, just if anybody's reading this, just know that I love you, because that's all anybody's ever gonna get from me.
Yep.
I can't hate.
Yeah.
Being 37, I'm tired.
Yeah,
I've had that emotional
I
time.
don't have room for hate. Like, you know, like I stayed in my own lane, you know, and, you know, what I've realized in the past few months, I've become a magnet when it comes with energy, just attracting the right people at the right times, and how I can impact people's lives at the right time. How can I reciprocate and give energy back and forth at the right times, and not having no kind of hate. You know, it feels so abundant that you could have some type of energy that no one can say that your energy is fake.
Right.
You know, because it's raw, authentic, and no one you can't duplicate a kind of energy that's giving out so much more than receiving, right?
Right.
So if everyone could have that kind of energy and doing the exact same thing, you start to see everything in a better perspective about life. Like, you know, you don't start to see the downfalls. You know, you start seeing how you could really uplift, you know, a person's character, judgment, being so proudful. you know. So you start seeing all these other aspects of life that you're like, damn, like wow, like this maybe gave me a better perspective on how I could view things better, how I could process things better, you know.
I'm hoping, being 37, I still have quite a bit of time ahead of me. I'm not old. I might be the oldest person
Yep.
within Blue Cap, or one of
Yep.
them at least. I hope to see more progress and unification in the long run.
Yep.
I would like to see the change happen in my lifetime. I don't think it'll happen, but by the time I'm gone, I want to see at least that there's progress being made for the next group, for today's youth,
Yep.
which, to be honest with you, is majority of our community. So for those that are on my calls or that are within Blue Cap, it's up to you guys,
Yep.
right? We all need to make change, but it's up to you guys to see it through. Make sure that your younger ones, when you have them, I'm talking to the early 20s, 21s, 22s, 23 people, right? 24s. When you have kids, that when you pass that legacy on, you can say, hey, I was able to hold on to this change. You need to take the baton because now it's a little bit easier for you. That's what I want to be able to see,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, from my perspective, I don't have much to say except for just, you know, love everybody. I mean, it's not hard to do,
Nope.
you know? Just stop hating, forgive, let go,
Yeah.
work together. You know, there's a lot of basic rules within life that entangle all of this to have people just say, hey, I've done wrong and I need to do better. Just do better.
Yep.
That's it. Be better than you were the day before. That's it.
I think that wraps up. So, yeah, it's been a lot of information, and I know. So, I appreciate everyone hopping on for this very intense conversation, just back and forth, tapping in all different aspects of what's going on. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe the Blue Capital Academy. You can type it up on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe. The next coming up podcast episodes is going to be really, really interesting because we're going to be following along during all of this process together as a whole because we're all going through it.
Yep.
And we're going to keep giving you guys the awareness, the positivity, the vibes, you know, and keeping this more just raw, you know. Nothing is scripted. This is all the top of our domes, like, you know, and providing value that, you know, the best way that we can for you guys. So
Facts.
if you guys enjoyed the podcast, you guys can shoot me a DM.
Hey, comment on it.
Yeah,
Start the
comment.
dialogue. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Y'all make sure y'all stay blessed and safe. Don't do anything recklessly, and make sure that lastly to keep spreading love as much as possible because you just don't know who might need it at that moment. So,
Facts.
and that's it. That's all I have on my end.
Me too. You summed it up fairly well. So with that, we could roll out and look forward to a new episode.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right.
We are out of here.
Be good.